Mr. Speaker, my question is addressed to the Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Defence, Minister of Home Affairs and External Communications, Minister for Rodrigues, Islands and Territorial Integrity. Whether, in regard to the consultation paper issued by the Information and Communication Technologies Authority on 14th April 2021, he will state if his approval and that of the Board of Directors of the Authority, respectively, were obtained prior to publication, and if so, indicate when.
Mr. Speaker, sir, for quite some time now, the number of ICT incidents, including social media-related incidents, has been on the increase. For the period 2018 to date, 4,200 ICT-related incidents, including 386 offensive incidents, have been reported on the Mauritian Cybercrime Online Reporting System, MOCOS, concerning online harassment, identity theft, cyberbullying, sextortion, online scams, hate and racial posts, amongst others. Set up in March 2018, the MOCOS is a centralized cyber incident reporting system. In addition, according to the database at the Cybercrime Unit of the Police, 1,925 offensive cases have been reported during the period 2000 to date. Moreover, the ICTA has also informed that 472 cases of social media complaints have been reported to it during the period 2010 to date. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am also informed by the ICTA that social media platforms are being increasingly used by some subscribers as a means of propagating inappropriate, abusive, racial, violent contents, causing irreparable prejudice to some categories of the population and also jeopardizing the social fabric of the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mauritius faces a unique challenge as we do not have a social media regional office located in the country, and the number of social media platform users is relatively small as compared, for example, to countries in the EU. We cannot thus adopt the same measures as taken by other countries, such as those in the EU, UK, New Zealand, Australia and India, whereby strong fines and prescribed deadlines for the removal, that is, take down notices of offensive comments from social media platforms are imposed on the platform owners themselves. It is also pertinent to point out that for Mauritius, if the social media platform accepts to remove a post, it takes 10 days or more for them to do so following requests by local authorities. Often, these social media platform administrators do not even respond to such requests, and in most cases, refuse categorically to remove the contents as they do their own assessment according to their own usage policy or community standards, irrespective of the domestic law of the country. This problem is further accentuated in Mauritius due to social media content in Creole language, which the international social media platforms cannot assess as regards any offensive vocabulary. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Information and Communication Technologies Authority is mandated under Section 18(1)(m) of the ICT Act 2001 to take steps to regulate or curtail harmful and illegal content on the internet and other information and communication services. Accordingly, the ICT Board, at its meeting of 29th September 2020, decided that a proposal on social media regulation should be prepared. Mr. Speaker, sir, in my reply to parliamentary question B827 on 17th of November 2020, I informed the House that a committee under the chair of the Secretary for Home Affairs has been set up to explore the possibility of providing within the ICT Act mechanisms such as the establishment of an ethics committee to prevent the posting of abusive comments and pictures on the social media platforms, and the proposed ethics committee could also be a platform whereby aggrieved parties could make representations for redress. On 5th of February 2021, Cabinet approved in principle to consultations being held by ICTA with stakeholders and the public in general, with a view to addressing the problem of misuse and abuse of social media in Mauritius. Accordingly, the ICTA prepared a public consultation document entitled Consultation on Proposed Amendment to the ICT Act for Regulating the Use and Addressing the Abuse and Misuse of Social Media in Mauritius. The paper was approved by the ICT Board on 12th of April 2021. The public consultation paper was published on ICTA's website on 14th of April 2021, and a press communiqué was also issued to invite comments from the public. The initial deadline for submission of comments was 5th of May 2021, but this was extended to 20th of May 2021 at the request of different stakeholders. Thereafter, other communiques were issued by ICTA and published in the media for clarification to the public, namely, on 19th of April 2021, a first communique was issued to provide clarification on the purpose of the proposed mechanism, which was to regulate social media platforms and not online messaging applications such as WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal. On 29th of April 2021, a second communique was issued to extend the deadline for submission of comments from the 5th to the 20th of May 2021. On 30th of April 2021, a third communique was issued to provide further clarification on the application of the technical tool which will not impact on private messaging applications. On 13th of May 2021, a set of frequently asked questions was published on the authority's website. A clip in Creole to explain the purpose of the consultation paper has been produced and posted on the website of the authority at www.icta.mu and uploaded on the Facebook page of Government Information Service. A news release to the media to raise public awareness about the clip and to remind the public of the deadline for submissions. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that the chairperson and officers of ICTA had held several interviews with local and foreign media to bring further clarifications. Mr. Speaker, sir, the public consultation exercise ended on 20th of May 2021. ICTA held a special board meeting on 21st of May 2021 to take stock of the response of the public. ICTA issued a communiqué on 21st of May 2021 to thank all contributors of the consultation exercise. Mr. Speaker, sir, this government has all along been adopting a consultative and participatory approach in public policy making and in the management of the affairs of the state. Hence, this democratic consultation exercise on the proposed measures to address the misuse of social media in Mauritius. I must emphasize that this is only a consultation exercise. It is the government that will ultimately decide on the way forward, taking into account, inter alia, the public response during the consultation exercise, and, amongst others, our national safety and security. Mr. Speaker, sir, we must constantly remind ourselves that in any genuine democracy, which also guarantees freedom of expression, rights must be balanced with obligations and duties. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, my first question relates to his personal approval of the document. He said that Cabinet approved the document in principle on 5th April, but he, as Minister responsible for ICTA, did he personally approve the contents of the consultation paper?
Mr. Speaker, sir, neither government nor myself approve this consultation paper. What approval was given in principle is for ICTA to hold consultations with stakeholders and the public in general with a view to addressing the problem of misuse and abuse of social media in Mauritius.
Mr. Speaker, are we to understand that none of his officers or advisors informed him of paragraph 12.2 of the consultation paper? Here it reads this: the proposed statutory framework will undoubtedly interfere with the Mauritian people's fundamental rights and liberties, in particular the rights to privacy and confidentiality. Despite this paragraph, you did not take the trouble to read in full the consultation paper. Is that how we understand it works now?
It's not how it works now. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have had a look at the consultation paper after it has been published. But the leader of the opposition is trying to make people believe as if the paper was first of all approved by government before consultations being held by ICTA. It is the other way around. It is for ICTA to come up with proposals, and therefore they are holding those consultations, after which they will, of course, if ever, make recommendations to government, and ultimately it will be for government to decide on the way forward. It is not the other way around. Otherwise, if it was the other way around, there would be no need for ICTA to hold consultations.
I remind the Prime Minister that in something which is fundamentally affecting human rights in Mauritius, that his officers did not draw his attention to the contents of the consultation paper, which has brought so much ridicule and opposition, not only in Mauritius, overseas as well, and the world again is watching us today. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask the Honourable Prime Minister whether before issuing this absolutely ridiculous consultation paper, which has been shut down in flames by a lot of overseas organizations and Mauritians, whether in fact, let's take Facebook, not the others, Twitter, let's just take Facebook, whether himself as Minister, as Prime Minister, the Minister for ICT, our ambassadors, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, whether any of these persons sought to contact the Facebook Oversight Board and tried to obtain satisfaction from them, therefore avoiding this consultation paper. So the question is, what diplomatic and other means did you use to contact the Facebook Oversight Board? And when,
Sir, as I say, it is not for me to contact Facebook. There is a consultation which is ongoing, and anyone can make...
Don't obstruct. Don't obstruct you also. You obstructing, both of you. Last warning. Last warning.
So I was saying, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is when this paper was publicized, an invitation was made for everybody to react and to make either comments or proposals. Then it is for, of course, not only local to react to this publication, but it is for everybody else. So there was no need for me to contact Facebook.
I suppose you will also send a representation, a submission to ICTA. Now, Mr. Speaker, après la mot l'artisan. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask the Prime Minister whether he has had the occasion to ask ICTA as to which country did they follow, which precedent in the world did they follow so that they would come up with this proxy server solution to intercept potentially all HTTPS traffic. Which country was taken as example for this?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I don't have to ask, at this stage, I don't have to ask information or questions to ICTA. It is for them to eventually, if they do make any recommendation to government, then, of course, questions will be asked. It will be then that government will discuss, will debate, and we've come with a policy on this issue. So it is, I hope you do understand that it is premature at this stage for me to be asking questions right now to ICTA. Well, the time will come when I will be asking a number of questions with regard to what has been publicized. Of course.
Despite all the negative publicity in Mauritius overseas, comparing us to Kazakhstan, etc., you didn't, we are to understand that you did not bother even to ask ICTA about it. So you have no idea which country ICTA is actually proposing to follow. Is that the case?
Well,
at this point in time?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I have answered. I say it is premature because when the recommendations will come to government, this is how we work, not the other way around.
Speaker, I'd like to ask the Honourable Prime Minister whether he has taken note of what the Mauritius Bankers Association have said in their submission to ICTA. And they have actually said that what is proposed will potentially allow ICTA to access all banking details and all internet banking details. And this is what they say. Firstly, that they did not support this proposal, and they say, Mr. Speaker, that it will compromise the whole financial services sector, which, according to them, holds US dollar 750 billion rupees. That is 40 trillion rupees of deposits for foreigners. Is he aware of the damage that has already been done by this ridiculous ICTA paper, consultation paper? Is he aware of this?
Again, the leader of the opposition is jumping the gun because as yet there has been no recommendations that has been made to government. When recommendations will be made, when a proposal is being made to government, it is then that we are going to look into it whether there have been representations by the Mauritius Bankers Association, X, Y, and Z, and then we will, of course, look at those, what are the comments that have been made, and then government will obviously decide.
And shortly afterwards, I will ask you for a guarantee. I will ask your draw your attention to what Mozilla and Google, I'm sure you've heard of these too, their browsers, have said about our proposal, the vulnerable ICTA's proposal, ridiculous, that it will put all Mauritians' privacy at risk, that it will compromise the integrity and security of the whole internet system, and, Mr. Speaker, puts us, poor Mauritians, at greater risk of fraud, internet theft and impersonation, and surveillance. This is what the real experts of the internet are saying about ICTA and which you allowed to be published not only in Mauritius, but the whole world aware of this?
Well, we are going to take stock of all the observations, comments, criticisms, suggestions that are being made. Eventually, we will take into account all this.
Speaker, is he aware that what Internet, the ICTA is proposing with the approval of Cabinet, it seems, without the knowledge apparently of Cabinet, but the approval of Cabinet, this is what the Venerable Internet Society says, international organization. It says it will allow the government to masquerade as Mauritian, and they use that word masquerade, as Mauritian citizens. This is the solution that you are proposing, Mr. Prime Minister?
Let me point out again that Cabinet has not approved as yet any policy decision on any amendment with regard to ICTA. How many times do I have to tell to make this leader of the opposition understand that?
Because I don't believe you. That's why you have to repeat. I don't believe you at all. I don't believe you at all. Mr. Speaker, ICTA, on whatever date, published, which I will table obviously on 31st of May, published, he didn't mention it just now, thank God, and some sort of communique where it had a selective extract of what Facebook has submitted to him. A selective extract tantamount, Mr. Speaker, to manipulating public opinion. Because information goes that Facebook was being polite in the first paragraph, was highly critical of what Mauritius is trying to do, highly critical, and also highly critical of this famous National Digital Committee, Ethics Committee. Will he therefore, since ICTA has itself talked about complete transparency in its consultation paper, will he, if he doesn't have it here, agree to publish in full, in the name of transparency, since it is a discussion paper according to him, in full, the submission of Facebook to ICTA?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, first of all, I don't interfere with the work of ICTA. ICTA has decided to go ahead with such a consultation paper. Eventually, of course, we will see what recommendations they are going to make. And of course, I will ask for all those representations that have been made, and then we will have a look at all these representations.
Mr. Speaker, the board of ICTA, which is responsible for this, is made up of many persons, only one of which appears to have even the faintest idea of what Internet is all about. All of them are from other spheres of profession or trade. Will he, Mr. Speaker, after this debacle, do us all a favor, do this country a favor, to avoid us going into such a ridiculous situation, since he has put it all now on the board of ICTA? Will he arrange to replace the board of ICTA with another board that is more responsive to the needs of this country in terms of digital communications in 2021? Or will he support it blindly?
There's no reason to change the board, Mr. Speaker.
I want to ask one or two other questions. One is, ICTA seem to be backtracking in Perdifas and trying to find a solution. Now, I would like to have the Prime Minister's commitment that now, even though he may not have been aware, I've made him aware of what international experts have said about his being proposed. Can I get his guarantee that he will intervene now, since he is the Minister for ICTA, to tell them to put this consultation paper in the dustbin where it belongs, and to seek to engage with Facebook, with Twitter, with TikTok, with YouTube, so that we can obtain, even if it is at Prime Minister's level, that we can obtain from them satisfaction concerning what is truly harmful to our nation's interest. Therefore, put this consultation paper in the dustbin.
Mr. President, je dois dire que je me suis retenu pendant tout le long de ce private notice question. Je dois dire que le leader de l'opposition a un culot extraordinaire. Le 8 novembre 2007, when Facebook was completely blocked in Mauritius for 24 hours by the ICTA authority, under the chair of Mr. Trilok Duval. You know what was the reason? There was a publication on Dr. Navin Chandra Ramgoolam, then Prime Minister of Mauritius. And Honorable Xavier-Luc Duval was a minister front bench. Yes. And you didn't have anything to say? You know?
Order.
Let me say,
Order.
à la suite de ce poste, il n'y avait pas de consultation, il n'y avait pas d'engagement avec les stakeholders, il n'y avait même pas de communication avec Facebook pour essayer de voir comment, si on peut éviter de telles choses. Non, they just acted, Mr. Speaker, sir. You know what? They sent ICTA sent a letter directing 12 détenteurs locaux d'une licence de fournisseur d'accès à l'Internet. Ils n'ont eu aucun autre choix que d'exécuter l'ordre de l'ICTA. This is the way they proceeded. This is the way they did things. And let me remind the honourable member, he has forgotten, I'm sure, what Trilok Duval said in response, in reaction to this. There was an upheaval, of course. Facebook et les autres sites communautaires ne sont pas au-dessus de tout reproche. Il y a des cas de cyberbullying, de violation de la vie privée, d'usurpation d'identité, de fraude en tout genre, et même de pédophiles enregistrés sur ces sites aux États-Unis. Il est clair que nous ne serons pas à l'abri de dérapages encore plus sérieux sur le net, et plus particulièrement sur les réseaux sociaux à l'avenir. Qu'est-ce qu'il préconise, le then président Trilok Duval? L'ICTA devrait-elle demander aux opérateurs de bloquer l'accès, même temporairement, à des sites d'Internet en cas de problèmes graves, comme ceux que je viens de citer? And his leader of the opposition was part of that government, now advocating, telling us we should discuss with Facebook, we should discuss with TikTok. I think he's gone TikTok. And
Order. Order. Order on both sides. Order on both sides.
Ou bien devrait-elle uniquement attirer l'attention des fournisseurs d'accès? And this is interesting, what he proposed. Il y a tout lieu d'avoir, and this, you must listen to that, il y a tout lieu d'avoir une consultation générale avec les stakeholders afin de dégager une fois pour toutes une politique qui pourrait prendre la forme de position paper on social networking. I don't want to read more what he has said, Mr. Speaker, sir. So the honourable leader of the opposition, when he was in government, this is what he did. And now, il est en train de donner des conseils qui sont différents et contraires à ce que lui-même il a fait.
Speaker, sir, with all due respect, this is a very childish reply from a young Prime Minister. Very childish.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, you were doing very well. Please, withdraw that.
So, Mr. Speaker, now he has to go back to 2007 and says, I should be aware when I was not even minister. He is minister for ICTA and tells us that he's not aware what ICTA is doing today, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I'll come back to this, what is being proposed, because I did not get an answer. I want an
Order.
answer from the Prime Minister. The world is watching. Every single international association has shut down his proposals for being technically unworkable and an attack on privacy and an attack even on the banking system. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, irrespective of whatever diplomatic solutions he may find from now on, will he give this House this morning, this afternoon, a guarantee that he will instruct ICTA today to put this in the dustbin and stop with his childish replies?
Speaker, sir, first of all, as I have stated in my reply throughout, and it seems that I don't know in what language, maybe I should again say it, this is not the proposal of government. It is a proposal which has been made for consultations by ICTA. Ultimately, when government will come forward with a bill, if ever we decide to amend the law, then you can stand up and then you will, no, you can sit down and then you can comment and then you can criticize. But as yet, there is no policy that has been decided on this issue. And secondly, what guarantee do I have to give? What guarantee do I give to the leader of the opposition? Government will manage the affairs of the country whenever and whenever it thinks it fit. In fact, to try to curb all the abuse. And you know, I have not heard a word from the leader of the opposition, at least, saying that all these racial posts that have been put, trying to create instability in the country. No, I'm not talking about political stability, religious stability. One insulting the other, one community and the other community. And as a result, we have seen, don't want to go into what has happened recently. Are we just going to say, as the leader of the opposition is saying, put in the dustbin, put everything in the dustbin? But we are not a dustbin government. We will do and we will act whenever the safety and the security of this country is at stake. And one of the priorities.
Time over.
And one of the priority of this government is to preserve l'harmonie sociale intercommunautaire, surtout dans ce pays.
Time over.